You're good to go, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is David Freese. I'm the mayor of Tonganoxie. I'm calling to order this May 4th, 2026 regular meeting of the Tonganoxie City Council. Mr. Porter, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Wilkie?
Present.
Ms. Stevens?
Here.
Mr. Dale?
Here.
Would you join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our first order of business tonight is the approval of minutes, in which we review the minutes from the regular meeting dated April 20th, 2026. Are there any comments or conversation about the minutes? If not, I would accept a motion to approve or deny.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Stevens. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wilkie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next up on the agenda is the consent agenda, in which we review bill payments from the previous meeting period. Is there anyone with any comments about the bill payments? Hearing none, I would accept a motion.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Dale. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Stevens. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 4 on the agenda is the old business. Nothing is listed, but this is the time of the meeting in which we allow the public to speak. Mr. Porter, do we have any signups?
Yes, Mayor, we have 3 signups tonight. The first person is Rebecca Davis.
If you don't mind, I just want to remind real quick, this is not a conversation or a Q&A. This is your chance to address the public and the council on the record, and you have a 3-minute limit, and that's a hard 3 minutes. So with that, please state your name and your address and have the mic.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Davis, and I live at 121 East 2nd Street. And I'm here today to talk about the proposed mega data center right outside of town. I realize that most of what's happening is through the county, and the county commissioners, but you know, it's all connected. And so I just want to bring awareness and kind of state some of my concerns. The size of this mega data center is really hard to comprehend. Like, they're talking 600 megawatts. That's as much electricity as the country of Finland uses. So that's, I know, right? It's like mind-blowingly large. The footprint would be potentially the size of 80 Walmart supercenters. And environmentally, the amount of electricity it consumes is a kind of a hot mess. So I consider myself an environmentalist, and this is of concern to me. You know, health and human wellness is kind of my life's goal. I've been a nurse for 26 years, and the way in the medical model we look at things, we look at risks and benefits, we look at side effects, and we look at hard research. That's just how we gain information. And one thing I've learned as a nurse is you don't want to be the first to try a new medicine. Like, it doesn't really go well sometimes, maybe like OxyContin or Fen-Phen. Like, we learn later on the side effects, the risks and benefits. Like I say, the research comes out. I feel that way about this mega data center. There aren't a whole lot, like they're trying to happen really quick. There aren't a whole lot of regulations, and it's kind of the Wild West out there. But I just don't think we want to be the first. The intermediary company that's doing this is Cloverleaf. And you know, if they ever come and talk to you, they have all the answers. They're very slick, they're very polished. One thing I'm going to bring up that they don't have the answer to is diesel generators. So when the electricity goes out, diesel generators kick on these mega data centers, right? So one of the founders of Cloverleaf, Brian Janos, these are his words. So he comes from Microsoft, and so this is an online article that says, true to his Microsoft roots, Janos hates diesel. The company itself is planning to get rid of the fuel by 2030. At the very least, you're going to have to test for maintenance and create a lot of particulate matter. He continues, when you're talking about the scale, some of these mega data centers, the amount of diesel generators you're talking about putting in is just enormous. The associated emissions are not tenable long term, and you're going to have more constraints around particulate emissions. Anyway, so there's kind of a 3-mile radius this is of particular concern. I bet you guys live in that 3-mile radius. Like, our school kids go to school there, you know, the elementary school, the middle school, our elderly, the nursing homes right there. Like, this is of a large concern: asthma, COPD, respiratory things. Clearly, there's other concerns. I can't hit on all those. And really, kind of in closing here, like, what are we leaving our kids and our grandkids? I mean, this is a beautiful plot of land out there. They would just level it, and then it's gone. So anyway, we want to slow it down. We want to keep the charm that we have. We didn't want a dirty chicken plant, and we don't want a dirty data center. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Mr. Porter?
All right, next we have Jim Carlskent.
Jim Carlskent, 24542 Cantrell Road. Good evening, council members. Thank you for allowing me to speak. You're probably aware that I and others have been seeking signatures for a petition to request that you consider a moratorium on the proposed data center. With Aaron Ballou, Chief Development Officer, and Kelly Detmer, Development Principal of Clover Relief, here on April 20th and 21st. They met with the County Commission on that Wednesday. There was 2 commissioners in one meeting, then another commissioner, and myself met with them, as well as I came here on Thursday, and I think met with a couple of you. And I will have to say that both Aaron and Kelly are excellent at their job. They are great salespeople, and I'm not taking that away from them, but it appears that there is a pushing this almost, pedal to the metal type thing to get this thing through. I could offer you a lot of information. I know too much. I've known a lot more than I did, say, 2 months ago regarding data centers. But one thing that I have found out, that large companies like what we're dealing with take advantage of small communities. And there is a gentleman by the name of Prescott Balch who's from Wisconsin. My wife and I spent about an hour with him in a video conference call last week. And he has a website. It's called WIWisconsin datacenterfacts.com. I have a sheet that I'm going to provide you, if I could, of different websites and opportunities for you to hear him. In fact, Prescott told my wife and I that he would be willing to come, not to come, but he would do a video conference with you as a group or the county commission as a group. He's a 38-year technology expert. He's worked data centers. He's not opposed to data centers, but he is very concerned about how small communities are taken advantage of. And that's where I would encourage you to become more familiar, and I have a sheet for each of you to go on his website, as well as YouTube videos that he interviews people and talks with people, to give you an idea of how small communities and smaller areas like this are being taken advantage of. So, I don't want it to happen, but I do feel like that we need to slow it down, and to give you an opportunity to hear both sides. Because when Cloverleaf comes to talk to you as a group, they're going to sell you. I'll be honest with you, they are going to tell you everything is going to come up roses. And it's not always that way. I know several of you on this council, and you understand that. But they have a very convincing argument. And if I could, I will share the sheets with Mr. Porter, and he can share them with you. But it would, I think, behoove you as a council to learn more about what happens to small communities. And anywhere from 5,000 like us up to 10, 20, 25,000. So I hear the ding, and so I will sit down, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next, we have Brian Morley.
Hello, Brian Morley, 23947 Chieftain Road. I'm a county resident, I'm not a city resident, so I can't vote, which is frustrating. We are on well water. Many of our neighbors are in well water. The fear of losing access to fresh water is beyond a nightmare. It's not just like animals, it's us, it's the people, it's wildlife. So these systems that they will sell you, you're gonna just love it. It's so good. It's like wonderful, but that's all completely fictitious as far as I'm concerned. I feel like, so David, you said that the thing about Tonganoxie is we have charm here. It's like we have a livability here. We have clean air. We have wonderful groundwater that is cleaner than the city water. I mean, both Lawrence and here, I'm like going, this is like very, very precious resource in the entire world it is. So I'm kind of like, when this first came up, I'm like, oh, certainly. And I realize that this is a county issue and this isn't a city issue, but you guys are in the mix of it. And I want you to know that in the last few days, talking to so many citizens, I would say 99% of the people are vehemently opposed to this kind of a thing. We are bipartisan. There's Democrats, there's Republicans, there are people that don't care at all. This has nothing to do with politics. And I heard one lady say, well, I don't like to get involved with politics. I said, this is not politics. This is your air, this is your groundwater. My personal biggest fear is the EMFs. With this amount of power coming through our region, it's like death rays. I mean, we are not going to live a peaceful life, let's say that. If your wildlife's affected, if your children are affected, if your cattle are affected, if your laying hens are affected by unseen vibrations and electrical current, I feel that's like a no. And I realize that this is the thing that you're voting on. I just want you to know that your constituents say no. They do not want this. It's like, I have never felt like so many people in the same mindset that they're like, we love our town. We don't want this to happen. This is a very precious part of the world. With global warming, the whole coastlines are going to slowly or more rapidly disappear. So where's the land? Where's the water? Where's the clean air? Right here, right in the center. We are literally in the heartland. It's just like zap. We're also in the cross migration of like birds and wildlife. It's a really special place in the physicality that we're in the crosshairs of all these things. It's also livable. We're less than an hour from an international airport. Everyone in Kansas, every little small town, what do they want to be like? They want to be like Lawrence. It's like, we're right there. We're affordable. We are quiet. We are, oh, by the way, looking at numbers, one more thing, it's one of the safest cities in the state. So let's keep our town good. And if you have any influence, we'd like you to be on our side. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate all the work that you all are doing. Thank you very much. Okay, are any more signups?
No other signups, Mayor.
All right, thanks again. Next up is new business, where we consider approval of a lift station for pump equipment consider approval of lift station pump equipment replacement project. Mr. Porter.
Thank you, Mayor. Just getting situated here. So this item is a item that was prepared by Public Works Director Kent Heskett and submitted to you for consideration. He's traveling, so he's not available to present it. But as you all know, a lift station is an important aspect of the city's wastewater treatment collection system that basically uses places where uses pumps and equipment in these facilities to move sewer in ways that gravity will not. So we have a series of them throughout our system. It's very critical that they work and work well and don't have downtime. And we've purchased mobile generators and other emergency response equipment in the past. What's included in the agenda item tonight is a replacement of variable frequency drive pumps in one of our lift station facilities. And in fact, the southernmost one, just located south of the Tonganoxie Business Park in close proximity to the business park property. It services that area. It has a system called a variable frequency drive that builds up the pump slowly and not all at once. It's designed to extend the life and the performance of the equipment longer and to be, in a sense, more gentle. What staff have found, though, through maintenance activities since that lift station was commissioned several years ago now, is that this equipment, as currently constructed, is subject to frequent downtime and issues, and we've had to do other repairs. There have been lightning strikes and other damaging aspects of its environment that it's within in a very rural area that need to be addressed through this replacement. So in essence, what's been quoted is replacement of those variable frequency drives with standard motors. Our staff feel very confident that's a feasible solution and that it will solve some of the maintenance and operations issues that they've dealt with. We collected 2 quotes for consideration. Capital Electric is the low bid at $8,989. We'll pay for this procurement out of the sewer operating and sewer capital funds, which maintain adequate authority and funding to make the purchase. So staff don't have any concerns other than this recommendation to move ahead with the Capital Electric quote. We've had good work from that company in the past, so staff feel confident they're able and well situated to deliver for us on this project. Happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Are there any questions or concerns, or if not, I would accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to authorize the purchase of the electrical work for the business park lift station provided by the Capital Electric for an amount not to exceed $8,989.
Thank you, Mr. Wilkie. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Dale. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I just heard one aye.
Aye.
Sorry, aye.
Okay.
I mumbled.
Any,
I was looking ahead to the next.
all
So I
opposed?
didn't.
Okay. All opposed? Motion carries. Item B on the agenda is to consider approval of 2026, 2027 plan year employee group insurance coverage benefits renewals. Mr. Porter.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is one that more veteran members of the City Council will remember from each year in the past. As you all may or may not be aware, the city's plan year for group benefits for health, vision, dental, and ancillary benefits all takes effect starting in July of each year, July 1st, and runs through the end of June. So we're coming up upon the time when the city needs to select which plans and what level of benefit to offer, what level of premiums to assign to employees. Employee benefits are becoming a more and more critical part of the city's recruitment and retention efforts. As you're all familiar, in the private and public sector, there are cost pressures and cost of service increases that really are significant and challenging and also malleable in different years. There's different aspects that we encounter that we have to evaluate and make decisions on. What we did is work this year with brokers as our aides in evaluating multiple options for health, dental, vision, and again, other ancillary benefits that the city offers. The biggest and most critical budget impact is health insurance. We currently offer insurance to 38 full-time employees of the city, and then the library's group of 4 full-time benefited staff are also afforded the option to join in our coverage as a joint group. That's been the practice for many years, and the library covers their premiums for employees currently and in recent years at 100%. When we evaluated bids and options for health insurance, we did confirm with the library director, Max Wirestone, that he had a chance to review this information. We met with him and talked through the options and got his feedback. So I'm happy to report the option we have for your consideration tonight with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas, an age-rated plan. of a quad of 4 plans is the plan selection that the library is most interested in and would be satisfied with. They have looked at other options in the past, and in future years and budget discussions, we'll bring that back to your attention and to theirs as they contemplate whether or not staying with the city's group is a good fit for their group. So looking at health insurance cost, there's 2 plan options that typically we've chosen between in recent years. What's called level funded, where the city's assigned a cost of premiums for every employee, depending on if they're employee, employee spouse, employee child or children, and employee family, spouse and children. There's also what's called age-rated plans or ACA plans. Employers under 50 participants or qualified participants are eligible to take advantage of that program. And since that became available about 8 years ago, more often than not, the city has gone with that. In that approach, every employee and their dependent is based on their age assigned a unique premium. So it obviously in cost charges more for people that actuaries essentially deem to be higher risk for higher costs. Our quote for Blue Cross and Blue Shield renewal included no bid for level funded. And the reason for that is our claims experience for our group. So there were enough risks or known risks in costs that they deemed it appropriate not to give us a bid. Age rated, we are guaranteed a bid, and we received a bid about 12% or 12.2% higher than what we're currently being charged for our group. While that sounds high, I can promise you it is not the largest increase that we've dealt with in the last handful of years. In fact, it would rank in the bottom 3, or actually the bottom 2 in George and I's tenure with the city. So it is a fairly good outcome in terms of cost estimate. One thing to think about too for our budgeting purposes is we typically budget 10 to 12% year over year increase. Since this only hits 6 months of our budget from July to the end of the year, it's something that we're able to more than absorb with our current budget assumptions and don't have any negative, outlook there. It's obviously something though that carries into the future, so we look at that carefully as well. When we look also at the page 2 of the agenda statement, you can see that the age-rated plans employee premiums are outlined in a table. This is really important because this is also what heavily impacts our employee group. You can see individual premiums range from one plan to the other end of the spectrum at $30 to $120 a month in monthly premiums paid by employees. And in the family group are the most expensive from $90 to $360 a month. That's a very strong position to be in as the employer. We periodically review and respond to surveys of other local government organizations. That represents about 10% of the total premium cost, depending on the person and their age, to be charged those premiums. So the city is able to afford essentially between 88 and 90% of the premium cost in almost every case of our employee group. And that's an important selling point when we convey this information to our current employees and offer it to prospective people we're recruiting for positions. So that's a very strong spot to be, and again, meets our budget limitations as well for 2026. There's a lot there, and I don't want to reiterate everything in the agenda statement. Are there any questions on that before I move on? Okay. One thing new that we've completed a significant analysis on this year is a health savings account, or HSA. This is available only to employees who choose to participate in Plan D from the table on the sheet before in the agenda statement. And this high deductible health plan is the lowest premium cost. It's significantly lower, especially in the current renewal information, than either of the plans A, B, or C. What a health savings account can do is it can offer both the employee and the employer tax advantage medical savings or funds that don't have a use it or lose it provision like a flex spending account, and that offer people the opportunity in the event that they have a good year in terms of their healthcare costs to have money in that account that they can set aside, invest, let it grow, use it in the future for medical costs, either during employment or after retirement. It stays with them for life, it's their money, and it's not taxed, so the city doesn't pay FICA or Social Security and Medicare, and it's not considered wages. So what many employers did a number of years ago is incentivize employees to join their high deductible health plan or cheaper plan by contributing to an HSA. So we did an analysis this year in great detail that looked at what would be the average and what would be the likely cost to the city if we were to contribute to that HSA and give a fairly significant contribution to incentivize people switching. What we looked at was for our current employee group, and if we did an individual contribution for an individual employee-only participant of $4,000 in a year, which is just under the limit of $4,400 that the IRS currently has for 2026, or for a family group, a contribution of $7,000 a year. Surprisingly, with that level of investment by the city as the employer contribution, the city would still save versus participation in a more expensive plan, somewhere ranging between $20 to $30 all the way up to, in some cases, averaging savings of close to $300 a participant. So while that doesn't sound like much, it does add up over our group, and it also incentivizes people to join a plan that more closely impacts them with the cost of their healthcare decisions and activities, basically. If you're seeking care and you have the choice between the term's not correct and wasteful, but excessive cost and use of healthcare facilities, a high deductible health plan disincentivizes that and is still a very good quality plan and provides a good benefit in the case of emergency care and other very critical things. So with that, staff would like to recommend approval of those annual contributions. And again, with our health premiums, healthcare premium charges, the renewal amounts, and the projected savings per participant who switches from A, B, or C to D, we do believe that this will also fall within our budget projections for 2026 with this program added. Any questions about HSAs or that analysis? Okay. All right, there's a lot more, and I apologize, this is so in-depth. Dental is another plan that the city provides a cost share of. The city currently pays 90% of employee-only and 80% of employee-family. We did have about a 2.3% net change, a little higher for employee-only, a little lower for employee-family. We don't anticipate any concerns. This is a relatively lower cost benefit and premium. Delta Dental of Kansas gave a bid. We also evaluated one other bid and one bid that was for dental and vision. Delta Dental wasn't the lowest, but it was the lowest one that didn't mandate vision and dental be grouped together. So we do anticipate that would be the best choice for our employee group. Vision, we currently procure from MetLife, which sounds like a life insurance company, but they also offer vision services. Those had a rate pass, and so they do not have a rate change in this renewal period. So we do recommend moving ahead with them as well. Finally, one other option is Mutual of Omaha for life insurance coverage currently paid by the city for every full-time employee, also receiving a rate pass this year, so no change projected in that regard. Happy to take any questions you may have. We have a draft motion in the agenda statement, but happy to, again, discuss or take any questions if you have them.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Mayor, if I could, I just wanted to add something very brief. I am always appreciative of the collaborative effort staff has in presenting a recommendation, staff recommendation to you folks. But I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the heavy lifting that's done by Mr. Porter and Jamie Burke in our office to vet through these things. We have the privilege of comparing the strength of our plans to other employers on occasion, and the details that Mr. Porter gave about vacillating between coverages based on ages or just flat participation rates, is true, and rates adjust all the time, but it's really the strength of our plan and the coverage it provides to our employees. When we have the ability, whether it's employee recognition luncheons or anything, we hear far more comments about trying to preserve the strength of the healthcare than we do even merit increases. And so that's something that we take to heart, and we understand that the cost is rising. We try to accommodate that in our budget assumptions from year to year, but there is no better team than Dan and Jamie to ensure that we're presenting you with a quality option to consider for the employees. So I just want to take the opportunity to commend both of them on their work for that. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Very good stuff. I appreciate the work. Do we have any questions?
Does the city have many part-time employees that this also applies to? I guess through the fire department, and it encompasses all of our different groups.
Yeah, this accommodates, we have 38 full-time benefited positions, but when you add part-time, none of those are benefited currently. So none of them, part-time fire. We also have a couple part-time police officer positions. Our water park facility is getting closer to 40 seasonal positions every year, but none of those part-time or seasonals are offered benefits of this nature.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no more comments, I would accept the motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to authorize approval of group insurance benefits offerings and employee and employer contribution levels for the 2026-27 plan year, which will commence on July 1st, 2026, as recommended by staff.
Thank you, Ms. Stevens. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wilkie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yes, that was
All opposed.
Did you hear?
Motion passes. I think I got Mr. Wilkie's vote there. I'm not sure.
Sorry.
Item C, discuss potential summer 2026 liquor sales adjustment. Mr. Porter, do you need a breath before you?
I'm good. I'll be very brief on this item. Our state legislature in the most recently concluded session approved a state law adjustment, which during the World Cup later this summer, particularly from June 11th through July 19th, allow for additional hours or expanded hours for the sale of alcoholic liquor and cereal malt beverage at the city or county's discretion. So we've included in the agenda statement a list of current license holders or permit holders and our reference to the current allowance for sales at those facilities from the city's perspective. We have the opportunity to opt in or opt out. We've done a query of other cities in the metro, many of whom have not yet made a decision, but we can report back that Lenexa, Fairway, and Basser have all planned or already voted no on any such ordinance. We don't yet have any cities confirmed as opting in, and Bonner Springs and a few others reference that they're still considering it. We do have other options to look at, like the timing of the actual soccer match events during the tournament. Right now, we know that the latest start time to any match for Central Standard Time is 11 p.m. So that obviously relates fairly well to our current ordinance. But there may be earlier match times or events that some communities choose to acknowledge by making an exception for this period of time. One thing that we do want to highlight is we checked with our police chief, Chief Lawson, and he reported back that while he's not going to try to dissuade the city council from considering such an option within reason, it's his opinion, initially at least, that adding additional time of the day without real merit or basis just simply expands the opportunity for issues with alcohol or involving alcohol that they wouldn't currently see. So his, I guess, advice or recommendation would be to consider just carefully what some of the impacts could be if stores did have this level of 23-hour-a-day allowance that the state statute provides. We have 2 more meetings in which we could approve an ordinance and make it effective in time to enact the change by June 11th. So it's just to put it on your radar, take any questions you have, or note any questions for follow-ups later. But we haven't yet heard any requests from our vendors listed in this agenda statement or from any of you to pursue this. So if you were to give us that feedback or direction, we would work with the city attorney to draft that ordinance for you to consider.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. I would be in favor of using the extended hours, but what's everybody else think?
I wouldn't have a problem, but I think, you know, it would be nice to hear from the business owners as well. You know, I mean, it's one thing to have expanded hours, but if those stores and retailers aren't going to take advantage and be open, it's kind of a moot point as well.
Fair.
And really, in this application, it would impact the liquor stores, like where you're buying liquor and taking it, because the restaurants, they can stay up until 2 a.m. if they choose right now because of the liquor license rules. But I doubt that Brothers Market would stay open late just for the small inventory that they have. But the actual liquor stores in town, those would be the exact businesses impacted. And they may not have an interest in extending hours, but if they were allowed, looking at the dates of the matches in Kansas City, some fall on weekends and some do not. So if our regulations could state they could be open until midnight, maybe they would choose to, or maybe they would not choose to be open an hour later, just depending on their staffing levels and their interest, what they would perceive as, would that be worth their time?
So the current licenses allow them to be open, a liquor store to be open till 11 p.m.
11 p.m.
And the latest games may be starting at 11 p.m.
And so they may say, yeah, that's fine, but like we're tired and we want to go home. You know, it would be up to them. It wouldn't be a mandatory.
That's
They
right.
would give them an option.
That's why I'd like to hear, you know, if any of them,
Yeah, there's
you
one
know,
out by-
are interested at all.
Yeah, there's one
I
at
think-
Fast Tracks.
Yeah, I think they'd probably be, I think it's just as likely they'd be like, nah, we're good.
3. Yeah, there's like 3 in town.
We could do a brief survey at City Hall too with our licensed business contacts and report that back if you'd like at the next meeting.
So
That'd be great.
it's really for 1 month, June 11th to July 19th.
Yep.
So it'd also be in effect during the 4th of July and some
That's a
other
good
times
point.
of year that I don't know how many people are that passionate about the World Cup, and maybe a lot. I mean, we got a soccer coach here.
And we're
But-
just close to the metro area.
True.
Because there's gonna be a home camp where a team is based in Lawrence and then one at the Legends. And so I'm suspecting we'll get a lot of overflow in terms of people wanting to stay in Airbnbs or people wanting to just be around the soccer excitement at the home bases. That's why people may be hosting watch parties. I don't know. I'm not gonna host a watch party. We don't even have cable. But, I mean, I'm just saying, people might be excited about it.
And so
World Cup only happens every 4 years.
And so the police chief, his main concern is people probably driving through Tonganoxie who are drinking, and just trying to understand his perspective. Did he give more reason as to why, other than just more accessibility to alcohol in society creates more opportunities for people to abuse alcohol in
That's
society?
a very good summation of what his thoughts are. Yep.
And so the other nearby communities voted no on this already?
We have not, those 3 that I referenced have voted no or declined to take up an ordinance, Lenexa, Fairway, and Baser most recently. Bonner Springs, we heard, is contemplating it, and I think we can expect to see a lot more decisions in short order. We're not really sure what the origin and support in the legislature was for this. There were spirited debates, if you read the accounts of the session, into why this made sense, and that's all I guess I can add to that. That's what the story we heard.
Spirited debate, very good.
It seems like, so we're talking about a couple of hours expanded
Yeah.
liquor sales.
That would be my legal question maybe for Anna. If the state is saying you can be open 23 hours, could our municipality say, you could extend sales from 9 a.m. to midnight during this window of time?
Yes, you can go as far as the statute allows or less.
Okay, that was my question. I mean, I don't think that would, I think what our police chief may be thinking is like, 6 in the morning, 3, whatever, but it could be, and some of the matches are in other time zones, so people might want to arrive at 6 a.m., but just plan ahead for that. I'm just saying, like, we might benefit from expanding them a little bit in our community, and then if those 3 liquor stores wanted to expand, fine, they could. Doesn't seem like that would be, that might be a good.
Compromise.
Yeah, a good compromise.
I feel more comfortable about it being open till midnight, but I'm trying to think from the perspective of a police officer having to hang around, check on the liquor stores at 3 in the morning. I don't know. It does seem like,
I mean, some liquor stores close, even though they can stay open until 11, like, they'll close at 9:30 because they're just not busy.
yeah. Well, perhaps if the businesses feel strongly that this would make a big impact in a positive sense for them,
Yeah,
we
it's
would
just
be
like
open
three places
to
ask.
expanding the hours. Would that be an okay compromise to reach out?
I think staff would certainly be happy to do that. It's just a handful of businesses. We can get their input, discuss again with Chief Lawson and public safety leadership, and come back at the next city council meeting and just give an update of what the businesses said and how public safety feels. And it could very well be that the concerns from public safety would be the same, but if the businesses are only gonna ask for that additional, instead of 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., maybe 8 a.m. to midnight, maybe some of the concerns are mitigated because it's still a fairly compressed time frame. So we'll be happy to gather that and bring it back to you.
Okay, sounds good. Anyone else? All right, thank you, Mr. Porter, Mr. Brockovich, appreciate it. Now on to item D, Resolution 05-2601, approving and authorizing change order number 2 to the construction contract with Kansas Heavy Construction LLC for Front Street and Ridge Street improvements. Mr. Porter.
Thank you, Mayor. We've got a detailed agenda statement for you tonight, recapping what this item is, and I'd like to also acknowledge and introduce Jason Hoskinson with BG Consultants, our contracted city engineer, who's also our project manager for this very important and so far very successful project. As you'll recall, back on March 2nd of this year, we approved change order number 1, which expanded the scope of work for this combined street, stormwater, curbs, stormwater inlets, and pedestrian sidewalk infrastructure addition where it currently did not exist or was in very poor condition. Initially along Front Street, which was our scaled down scope when we bid the project out late last year. And we expanded that scope to include Ridge Street from the intersection with Front Street to just about in front of the All Seasons Car Wash, which is located just to the southwest of Brothers Market Grocery Store. We completed that change order and began evaluating, based on council feedback, a couple key aspects. One, how to extend the scope of work further south along Ridge Street to the southern termination point, adjacent to McGee Meadows neighborhood and subdivision, and multifamily housing properties along that corridor. We also looked at extending sidewalk connectivity, which was an important goal of this project. And finally, to identify for for the staff and the city council to consider more detail about where exactly proposed pedestrian crossings of Ridge Street would be located. Until the design was completed and finalized, that wasn't able to be identified, and so we're happy to report to you where that is proposed. And I might actually let Jason comment on that in a little more detail when I get it pulled up. We do want to highlight that the change order does come with a cost of $120,160.10. We do have budget authority available for that kind of a change, with the anticipation that a majority of the city's contracted street maintenance activities that Kent would normally bid out and detail to you as his annual street maintenance plan would need to be reprioritized for this project. And again, the rationale behind these change orders, cost-wise, is we receive very aggressive unit cost pricing results from our bid letting. And so we're able to complete the entire project for a total project cost of $867,509.20, which is significantly lower than engineers' estimates of probable cost given 2 years ago and actually 3 and 4 years ago when we budgeted for this in the CMIP. So with that, I'll maybe turn it over to Jason. I hope I didn't steal all his thunder, and if we can answer any questions you may have.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jason Hoskinson, BG Consultants. And yeah, just to kind of summarize the map there, so north is to the left on the map, so the top left is Highway 24, and then Ridge Street, of course, you know, coming south down Ridge Street. The red area there is how what we're proposing for a sidewalk connecting from Front Street down, actually all the way down to Joel Street. We have a crosswalk right there that he's highlighting. It's kind of right at the top of the hill, and the proposed features at that location, not completely shown on this overview map, but we'd look at putting in crosswalk markings and pedestrian signage right there, so it kind of pops out to drivers that, hey, here's a crosswalk, there may be pedestrians there. There's also, that location also provides paved access to that kind of from the west side to the east side. We did look at trying to maybe push that a little closer to the highway. We get into more traffic in that area, and also it dumps out into a bunch of grass, and really it would need improvements from the grocery store out to Ridge Street to really make an accessible connection out to the street. So the red would be the sidewalk. We're actually looking at bringing the west curb line in a little bit, narrowing the street up, because it's a really wide street. It's wider than what we would normally put in today by city standards. So that west side, the curb is in really bad shape, needs to be replaced anyway. So we accomplished multiple things with this scope of work and adding this into the project. But yeah, the top half there gets us down to about Joel Street, and then the bottom half shows that final connection all the way down. And then at the very right side of the page is where Ridge Street ends today. So. But yeah, that's as Mr. Porter mentioned, the first change order kind of got us to the car wash. In hindsight, looking at what we can accomplish here, there's multiple other items we can take care of with this second change order, which really gets us to the end of the project. Things are progressing along really well here. Kansas Heavy Construction is looking at probably paving this week or next, weather pending, on Front Street. And once that's paved, they can then turn and focus their efforts to Ridge Street. And what we saw in front would basically be done again on Ridge Street. I do anticipate Ridge Street would probably go a lot faster because there's not the same volume of underground work. There's not as much storm sewer work, so it's mostly on the surface, replacing curbs, replacing driveway aprons, and getting the sidewalk put back. So with that said, I'll turn it back to the council and be here if there's any questions.
Thank you, Jason. Anyone have any questions?
It's been great that both sections could be done for less than it was originally budgeted for just one piece. So that's awesome. It's gonna help with walkability there and connectivity of our trail system, so.
Can I ask a question about, I'm looking at the map in the actual packet, the Shoemaker Way. It's that little street, there's the gym on it, it goes up a little bit, there's the physical therapy clinic there and the chiropractic clinic, that little street,
I'll show that, sorry.
it would be on page. I don't know. I was just curious why that street was left out. If there was a reason, is it just in better condition or just not used as much in a
All
by
of
number
that,
people?
you know, it services a limited area. There's also, I think, some additional issues there if all of the easement and is compromised, and we would have had to have additional conversations. So when we were limited by budget initially, we wanted to focus on the primary pathways to get there, which included Front Street and Ridge, and then increase pedestrian connectivity through those areas. We can certainly, as funds become available over the years, come back if we needed to address that. But if we are, Mr. Wilkie, if we look at the way we typically prioritize street maintenance and traffic counts and who's going where, it would probably rank fairly low on how we would typically prioritize it. But I think it's a fair question given that we are in the area doing work. But I don't know if I answered it or danced around it enough, but
No, it's all
I think
good.
you hit the nail on the head
Well,
of why it
Ridge-
wasn't a priority.
Far more people, you know, would
It
benefit
is.
from Ridge Street
Yes.
being benefited.
Yep.
Just curious. It just, there's a lot of people that go through that street and use that gym and that and the, you know, that some of those centers, and I don't know, but it's not a huge number of people comparative to Ridge Street. So I was just curious, the logic, maybe more of how those projects are discerned.
Yes.
So-
And we've entertained development proposals from certain projects in that area. And again, it would just require some improvements that the developments would need to pay for. And so it just didn't fit the priorities for this particular project. But to go back to what Ms. Stevens said, I mean, it's rare that we can come in and do 2 road projects under the engineer's estimate of probable cost. We don't eliminate anybody's access points. We didn't, say, well, you have 2 now, you can live with 1 later. They get improved access or approaches, drives, and we added pedestrian connectivity and improved the road surface, and created adequate depth and hopefully resolve on years of ongoing issues with these roadways. So, and of all the dogs that were surveyed as they make their way down to the dog park, they were all really happy with this connection too. So, or at least that's what we thought they said.
That's great.
We're okay with drainage there with Tonganoxie, at Tonganoxie Road, is that right? Or Griffin Road?
You mean at the bottom of Front Street, kind of bottom of the hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, we added some curb inlets. There's some existing large pipes there. It's getting kind of down towards the floodplain. It's flat, so the water tends to be in that area, right? But as far as Front Street goes, we're comfortable with the design that'll meet or exceed city standards for what we would typically see for streets in this area. So, now, will there be a storm that'll exceed the capacity? Sure. But your typical storms should be no problem.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Thanks, sir. Any conversation with this? If not, I would accept a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 05-26-01, approving and authorizing change order number 2 to the construction contract with Kansas Heavy Construction LLC for the Front Street and Ridge Street Improvements Project.
Thank you, Mr. Dale. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Stevens. All in favor, say aye.
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 I said aye.
Yeah, sorry, you did turn up my hearing aids. All opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to the city manager agenda. Fiscal year 2025 audit planning letter. I'm going to guess this is Mr. Porter.
Thank you, Mayor. Very brief with this item. We've just kicked off earlier today our work period for the 2025 fiscal year audit with Swindle, Jansen, Hawk and Lloyd LLC. We have a letter included in the agenda packet that was to be directed to your attention as the governing body. It outlines roles and responsibilities between staff, the council, and that auditing firm. We do anticipate right now that the audit should be delivered by early August this year. We anticipate that's sort of the latest date we should expect it, and we do hope that it can come in a little bit early. We're off to a good start and have a lot of work ahead of us, so happy to report that.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Mr. Brockovich, did you have anything to add in your agenda?
No, other than just a reminder to you folks that starting at the next meeting, we'll do, it'll be one of our first budget work sessions to begin on CMIP, and so we're anticipating that to be a 5 p.m. start.
Yay.
Yep. So
All
I
right.
appreciate the enthusiasm.
All right. Sorry, I'm working through my schedule in my head right now. Next up is the city attorney agenda. Ms. Kirstelich, did you have anything?
No items, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem agenda?
Nothing this evening.
Thank you. Miss City Council agenda? Anyone have anything?
I have nothing.
All right, thank you. Mayor agenda, I also have nothing, so that leaves Mr. Dale.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Stevens. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. See you in a couple weeks.